Stefania Sandrelli, an astrological portrait of Ciro Discepolo. Let's try to make a nice astrological cocktail. Let's add a double dominant moon Mars, sensitivity and determination, a Jupiter trine the Sun, plenty of optimism, a Venus in Cancer, maternal instincts, a Scorpio ascendant and a Venus in the 8th house, plenty of eroticism, a triple conjunction Sun, Mercury, Uranus in Gemini, lively intelligence, all the stars above the horizon, competition and success. Behold, we have brought Stefania Sandrelli to life. Such is, in fact, the astrological mosaic of the beautiful actress, described as Renaissance by director Tinto Brass, and who in recent months has been at the center of scandal and success, as evidenced by the opposition of Jupiter of her return to her natal Sun for her latest film, The Key. And the key to understanding this highly sensitive actress lies precisely in the valences just mentioned. First of all, the two dominants, Moon and Mars. That she's a lunar creature is demonstrated by the strong connection she establishes with audiences, especially male ones. From her first screen appearance in Pietro Germi's divorce Italian style, one immediately had the impression of a popular girl, capable of winning over the audience. And so it was, and Sandrelli, film after film, had been riding the crest of a wave for over 20 years. Her story began in her native Viareggio, where at 15 she met and immediately fell in love with Gino Paoli. Their love lasted 9 years, and in addition to many beautiful memories, also left her with a daughter, Amanda, born when she was only 17. Then things between the two deteriorated, and the actress, by then already established, married playboy Nicky Penday, though he didn't yet know he was, won and actually inspired tenderness in our actress, with whom she had a son, Vito. Even her marriage fell apart, and between the two main love stories of her life, many other love stories, small and large, intervened, contributing to the mythologizing of the fatal side of the subject. Love, she confesses, has always been at the top of her aspirations, but what has always gratified her most have been cinema and her children. Cinema, in fact, is celebrating her as one of the queens, if we believe the box office figures, of the 1983 to 1984 season. And here it's time to say, everyone saw it all, or rather, to what extent did the film's full frontal nudity and its almost hardcore scenes influence this specific success? The sociologist will answer. For our part, we'll limit ourselves to recalling the dominant moon on the midheaven, great popularity, and two highly respectable primary directions in 1983, Sun trine ascendant and midheaven trine Sun. After all, a body alone can't work miracles, and Moravia said of hers, all it takes is walking and distributing sex. A body that speaks, or a soul that transmits through the body like an antenna. But where does such sensuality come from, especially from Venus in Cancer, in the 8th house? Venus in Cancer is a Venus that needs to give and receive a lot of affection. Being in the 8th house, it establishes that the best vehicle for this is sex. Sex, if you like, is the most infantile and therefore Cancerian expression of the need for love. Eroticism and mischief are provided by the Scorpio ascendant and the moon in Virgo. Be careful with this combination. It often signifies frigidity. Other times it demonstrates a strong erotic orientation. Virgo values are offset, as in the case of Paola Pitagora, who has Virgo valences. This Venus is Saturnized, being conjunct the great malefic of tradition. Her fate, which has led to many separations, testifies to this shadow side of the horoscope. The Venus-Saturn conjunction in the 8th house also accounts for an interesting detail. Two of her lovers attempted suicide. One, Luigi Tenco, even succeeded. But Venus is also squared to Jupiter, which establishes the existence of a very flexible morality. When asked by a journalist from L'Espresso if she considers herself a slut, she replies, "I have no problem with seeming like a slut. And I don't even know what that means in Italian. We should define that word." The interview continues in much the same vein, a bit red-hot like the film, but this is to explain her nonconformism, that is, her desire for transgression, inherent in her dominant Virgo moon, compensated, and we insist on this point to draw an ideal parallel with Paola Pitagora. Jupiter is in the 11th house, magnificently placed, and explains her powerful friends and prestigious connections, starting with Gino Paoli, who, skill aside, undoubtedly played a key role in her professional growth. Returning to what was said, we would like to slightly adjust her birth time. 6:45 p.m. is the official birth time. Judging by her past life, we should postpone it slightly, so as to have the Venus-Saturn conjunction fall well within the 8th house, and the triple Sun-Mercury-Uranus conjunction, divorce and various separations, further into the 7th house. Regarding this last conjunction, it's nice to note that her mother, as a child, called her Mercury because she never sat still. What could be more restless than a triple Sun-Mercury-Uranus conjunction in Gemini? Her propensity for scandal is likely connected to her dominant Mars in the 9th house, wars of thought, excommunications given and received, ideological conflicts. Years ago, she raised a controversy with the famous scene of the double simultaneous masturbation in Bertolucci's 1900. Many cried foul, as they do now, with the key, and she very calmly expressed herself and continues to express her dismay at such sexophobia. She is especially indignant when asked why she didn't have a stand-in for the more daring scenes. I even talked about it with my children, who are quite grown up, and they approved and supported me. If I had accepted a stand-in, then yes, I would have been moralizing and acting in bad faith. Undoubtedly, it's about courage that comes from her dominant Mars. This, along with the sunny horoscope, all the stars are above the horizon, also speaks to a competitive spirit. From her first audition with Germi, Stefania defied fate, wanting to be first with grit and determination. So far she's succeeded not in being first, but in always being present, despite the chronic crisis that has engulfed Italian cinema for years. Her evergreen youth, assured by her Gemini values, will keep her in the spotlight for a long time. The next few years will be very evolutionary for her. Between the end of 1983 and the end of 1985, transits, primary directions, and solar returns speak of major changes for her, while also revealing some pitfalls. Above all, she must guard against the danger of a serious car accident. Among the primary directions of the coming years, Mars conjunct Neptune in the 11th house stands out, with Mars coming from the 9th. But above all, there's the revolutionary passage of Uranus, in opposition to itself, the Sun, and Mercury. Such a significant transit cannot fail to also herald some significant changes in one's professional life. If, as we suspect, the three aforementioned stars are in the 7th house and not on the cusp of the 8th, then a great love story is also on the horizon. What is certain is that Stefania Sandrelli will continue to fascinate and amaze us with her splendid Mediterranean nature, which contrasts with her temperament and sensuality, with the grey, frigid, crumbling, impersonal femininity of northern latitudes. Her body, like her ego, aims to be a hymn to life, and thus served magnificently to fulfill the underlying theme of Brass's film. A man who's about to die clings to life through the sensuality of a body. The eternal Eros-Thanatos duo with its myriad variations. Stefania is a living creature, a living being, and for this reason she cannot manage a romantic relationship based on continuity and exclusivity. Fidelity is not her strong point. There is something of the protagonist of Piero Chiara's novel, A Thorn in the Heart, in her, a female figure who lives and causes death, who unleashes the most violent passions. Many have also seen in her the incarnation of Lulu, Frank Wedekind's heroine, brought to the small screen by director Mario Misiroli and played by Stefania. But above all, she is Stefania Sandrelli, herself unique in the world, a registered trademark, like every human being certified by her horoscope. Ciro Discepolo excerpt from the book From Costanzo to Nilde Iotti, published by Ricerca 90, 1992,